Welcome to the Global Focus Review channel. The biblical account of the historical flood, featuring Noah, stands out as one of the most universally recognized stories in the Bible. This narrative transcends geographical borders and reverberates in mythologies across diverse regions such as Asia, Oceania, Europe, the Americas, and Africa. In many of these accounts, similar events of a great flood parallel the biblical texts. The Bible references the existence of giants both before and during Noah's time, depicting them as monstrous beings resulting from forbidden unions in the eyes of God. Interestingly, the biblical narrative asserts that these giants were destroyed during the flood. However, a lingering question persists. How did these giants mysteriously reappear after the flood, during the days of Abraham and subsequently in the times of Moses, Joshua, Caleb, and the judges of Israel? This gigantic presence continued to be documented until the periods of the kings of Israel, including King David himself, who faced challenges against such colossal beings. In this video, we delve into another installment of our series that explores the giants of the scriptures and unravels the mystery of their reappearance after the flood. The biblical references to giants are often linked with the Nephilim, a race of kings believed, according to biblical tradition, to be descendants of the sons of God and the daughters of men. Genesis 6:1-4 is commonly cited to mention the Nephilim, describing a time when men began to multiply, and the sons of God took the daughters of men as wives. This led to the birth of mighty men, renowned in ancient times. The interpretation of these verses has sparked debates among scholars and theologians. Some view the sons of God as fallen angels, while others see them as righteous descendants of Seth, with the daughters of men representing less righteous descendants of Cain. The presence of giants on earth is also mentioned in the book of Numbers, where spies returning from Canaan report seeing giants descended from Anak. Numbers. For a long time, Genesis 6 was a forbidden topic due to its obscure nature and challenging interpretations. The ancient belief, reflected in the Dead Sea Scrolls, suggests that fallen angels defied divine will by uniting with human women, resulting in the giants mentioned in Genesis. These giants, renowned for their strength and powers, were considered legendary figures in antiquity. This interpretation finds support in ancient Jewish beliefs from over 2,200 years ago, as seen in the Dead Sea Scrolls. The biblical text reveals the mysterious reappearance of giants after the flood, belonging to various tribes and races, not limited to a single classification. This enigmatic presence is not only found in Genesis, but also in several other books of the Bible. Even during the era of David, giants were still a tangible reality. Some individuals argue that the giants mentioned in ancient narratives did not result from unions between fallen angels or demons and human women. Instead, they propose that these giants were merely exceptionally tall men who appeared soon after the flood. However, the validity of this interpretation is doubted, considering the information available. According to the Guinness Book, the tallest recorded height for men is around 7.87 feet, reaching 8.04 feet. However, these individuals did not have extended life expectancies nor displayed the strength attributed to biblical giants. The biblical giants were described as warriors participating in battles against hundreds of men, and their clothing reportedly weighed up to 10 pounds. In contrast, modern giants associated with gigantism experience abnormal growth influenced by a phenomenon that somewhat stunts the development of cartilage and bones, resulting in individuals of notable heights. Nevertheless, cases of gigantism are linked to a relatively short life expectancy, typically limited to around 30 years in some instances. Hence, there exists a significant distinction between the characteristics ascribed to biblical giants and exceptionally tall individuals in contemporary society. Analysis of giants mentioned in sacred texts often includes references to their heights in cubits, offering context to comprehend the magnitude of these beings in their specific eras. To delve into a post-flood giant, let's consider Og, the king of giants who ruled over a tribe or race known as the Rephaim, also called Rapha. The term Rephaim alludes to the giants killed during the flood. According to biblical accounts, the Rephaim were approximately 13 feet tall or even taller. King Og of Bashan, mentioned in the book of Deuteronomy, is described as about 9 cubits high and 4 cubits wide. To grasp these dimensions, it's crucial to note that the Hebrew or Israeli cubit was approximately 1.75 feet. Therefore, the height of King Og would be approximately 13.13 feet. Additionally, his width of 4 cubits translates to 7 feet each cubit, making him truly colossal. Given these extraordinary dimensions, the assertion that post-flood giants were merely tall men becomes questionable. Men with a height of 13.13 feet and a width of 7 feet do not align with the category of normal human beings, especially when considering the more modest statures of that time, when an Israelite man commonly reached a maximum height of 5.58 feet. These accounts emphasize that giants were distinctly different from ordinary humans, reinforcing the concept of their colossal and unique nature in antiquity. In addition to the narrative about Og, the king of Bashan, there is also an account of the spies of the people of Israel in the land of Canaan, who were amazed at the imposing stature of the giants. These giants were not only stronger but also considerably taller than the spies, to the extent of being compared to locusts. The sight conveyed the idea that giants were like large locusts compared to the smaller locusts that more closely resembled grasshoppers. It is crucial to emphasize that the race observed by the Israelites was not that of the Rephaim, but rather another race of giants referred to in the text as Anakim. Now, as we delve into the reappearance of giants after the flood, the theme becomes intriguing with various interpretations of how they would have survived or mysteriously resurfaced. I will present some views, reminding you that I am sharing possibilities, and I invite you to express your opinions in the comments, indicating which you find most convincing. One interpretation suggests that, according to reports from rabbis and Jews, some giants managed to survive the flood. Some rabbis claim that God allowed the survival of some of these giants so that post-deluge humanity could witness that even such a monstrous race was destroyed by him and was already in extinction shortly after the flood. Many believe, and even some ancient Jewish commentators suggest, that King Og survived inside Noah's Ark, although the biblical text does not corroborate this claim. Other rabbis and Jews argue that giants managed to survive on high mountains, hiding from the floodwaters. Some go so far as to say that the waters only reached the legs of the giants above the highest peaks of the land. However, this view seems peculiar considering that the Bible states that all mountains were literally covered by the floodwaters, many cubits above their summits. There are also theories suggesting that some giants survived in boats they built to escape the flood. However, there is no evidence of this in the Bible or any apocryphal book. In my opinion, the most convincing and coherent interpretation is one that suggests giants reappeared after the flood due to the fallen angels returning to relations with human women. The Genesis text in chapter 6 mentions giants at the time of the flood, both before and after the flood. This interpretation is based on biblical foundations, and it's interesting to note that when reading the New Testament, especially the book of Peter, we see mention of angels being imprisoned. This seems to align with the Genesis account, indicating that at some point after the flood, God imprisoned these fallen angels who desired to take on human form and generate offspring. The New Testament also addresses this story in a peculiar way, which may seem intriguing to some, but is quite interesting. After the flood, giants were mentioned and identified by various names in the New Testament, representing different tribes or races of giants. These tribes included the Rephaim, Retaim, Anakim, Emin, Zim, and Zamzumim, totaling 5 races of giants. I hope you have enjoyed this video on how giants reappeared shortly after the flood. Choose which interpretation resonates most with the truth in your eyes. With that said, I wish everyone to be with God, and see you soon.